Noel's News! It's Noel's News!
And young fella.
Well, Noel, how are you?
I'm alright.
Heavy weekend in both Galway and Wexford.
Oh no, I was well behaved.
I actually honestly heard that you were trying out both the King's Head and the stores.
By whose army? Hey, you were talking about Halloween there.
Yeah.
Are you dressing up?
I probably won't. I'll be in America. You never know, actually. Yeah, the big Halloween parties over there, maybe.
Did you be God? Well, we had a right fright there one year when I was young.
Did you?
Uncle of mine dressed up as the taxman. Yeah, and backfired when his brother shot him, but but they laugh about it, you know. They laughed about it afterwards.
Was he hurt?
You know. Yeah. Yeah, he was shot. He was, yeah, but he was tough. But I have a bit of news for you now.
Lovely.
Speaking of tough lads, right? New York, the big spud. They have gangs, right? Right tough teddies now. They have all these Snoopy Dogg and 99 Cent and Dr. Hayes, Postman Owen.
Dr. Hayes?
Yeah. He did the rap with Eminem there.
Dr. Trey?
Dr. Hay, Postman Owen, Ice Pop, all them rappers, right? P. Biddy. It's actually a Glenroe tribute. I think it's kind of distasteful if you ask me, but now I'm out of touch, you see. I left the gang scene years ago.
Did you know?
Did you know?
I'm out of touch with my homies.
What kind of gang?
Oh, jeez, I haven't seen their crew in years. We had, there was Big Dog.
Yeah?
And there was his brother Little Dog. And his sister Rover. We had a lad from the Dominican Republic. And his mother was actually from Navan.
Go away.
Yeah. And his father was from Santo Domingo. He was half tato, half taco.
Fuck.
Everyone called him Trevor. Dominican Trevor. Yeah, so as not to confuse him with our other Trevor, who was from Japan. But normally, one Trevor would be enough to have in the gang. But we had an abundance of Trevors in our old gang, right? And to be honest, you know, it might have scared off other people joining because, you know, nobody wants to be known as the Trevors. Oh shit, here they come. The Trevors.
What?
Toughest gang in New York, right? So, not to be trifled with. But in America, in New York, when you get in trouble, they don't send you away to the Gaeltacht like they do here. Did you ever hear that saying, to hell or to Connacht?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cromwell said it.
Was it?
Yeah.
Well, geez, they were all saying it when I was in school. But the nun used to tell us stories about lads. If we were bad, he'd be sent away to the Gaeltacht. Lads heard stories about fellas out in the Gaeltacht being made to dance and drink sugary tea, put fear of God in you. Now, them nuns, they would put fear of God in you.
Yeah.
Because I seen a nun choke slam a fella who gave her back talk. This is fact. This is a fact. Sister Agnes did a Samoan drop on Frank Halley once. She fucked him right up off the altar. But he shouldn't have been talking in mass. But in New York, when you get in trouble, right, they send you to a place called Rikers Island. Yes, built in 1932. At its peak, it housed 20,000 inmates, including Tupac, the rapper, Sid Vicious, bass player with the Sex Pistols. I wasn't overly gone on them. I seen him at the Fla a couple of times. Mark Chapman, who shot John Lennon, he was there. A lot of troublemakers in Rikers Island. But the famous jail is going to close. The mayor, Bill de Blasio, he is going to close the jail in 6 years. No panic. He must be getting Patsy Dalton to do it. He's building a shed for Keaton's for the last 6 months. If he can't house 60 cows, he'll never house 10,000 two-packs. But they don't want lads going into jail, learning nothing, coming out and getting into the same trouble again. What they need is the ban on tea.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, threaten the gangs with the Gael talked, and they wouldn't be long putting down the guns. And rumour has it that the ban on tea, she used to be a nun, but she got thrown out for being too radical.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's like being thrown out of the pogues for liking the crack too much. So that is Rikers Island is closing apparently. My second story of the week. Denmark, the Big Apple.
Pretty sure it's not called the Big Apple.
Home of big, hairy, angry, ship-sailing, axe-wielding invaders. Not Mumford & Sons, but the Vikings. These are the very lads who came over here fly-kicking our priests, right? We had no army at the time. There's only a few ag students out doing a survey on the coast. A few lads from the department versus the Vikings. Not a fair fight, right? They came over here trying to get off with our nuns. Yes, they did.
Okay.
And I'll tell you, you're trying to ride a nun. You're barking up the wrong gee. Now, be easy saddle a bachelor's wife, now I'll tell you. But now I'm nearly over the Vikings.
Oh, Jesus.
Me and the Vikings, we have beef, as they say in America. I have a story about the capital of Denmark called Copenhagen. They have a big incinerator where they burn the rubbish, right? Which is gas, right? They have a whole factory burning rubbish. But when I do it, the neighbours go mad. Oh no, you can't burn plastic. Oh no, that was my car. Why'd you set the car on fire? Well, I didn't mean to set the car on fire. I needed petrol, and that was, Feehan's Mercedes was the nearest source. Oh no, stop pulling my clothes off the line and fucking them into the fire. Like, well, they didn't suit you, girl. They didn't suit you. These things happen. And they called over to Carmel. And I said, lads, if you're trying to scare that woman, you're barking up the wrong gee. As the old saying goes.
I think it's barking up the wrong tree, no.
Huh?
No.
It's what?
Barking up the wrong tree.
Why would you be barking up a tree?
It's just a saying. Why would you be barking up a gee?
Well, whatever you get into yourself. I do a lot of things, but I don't judge. Four guards came to the door. And I said, you're not going to scare that woman. She's been married to me. She knows hardship. But in Copenhagen, right, they burn the rubbish. And they can use that for making electricity. Right now, right? They burn it. And somehow the fire heats a load of water. And that makes steam. And they have an old steam engine. You'd think they'd have something more modern than that by now, than a steam engine.
You would, yeah.
You bloody Vikings by that. But on top of the big rubbish burning power plant, it's a big slope, right? And they have turned it into a ski slope.
Wow.
On top of a rubbish burning power station. Yes, you have heard correct. If you would like to fall down a hill strapped to a pallet, then Copenhagen is the place for you. Skiing is how you know someone is rich. If they're good at skiing, then they probably robbed a lot of shares back in the Celtic Tiger. Irish people who are good at skiing wear pinstripe shirts and listen to Lionel Richie. They were all drinking coffee and snorting mushrooms back in the boom. Okay, this is people who are into skiing.
Okay.
And if you look at the news, this is the news, right? The Danes have built a big fake alpine ski slope on top of a rubbish burning power station. Is that news enough for you?
That is news.
That's hell of a news.
That's hell of a news now. Because there's no mountains in Denmark. Fact.
Isn't it?
No, very flat. Yep. Boring out. Nothing going on. Fair City Omnibus by Denmark. All to all. So on local news now, the trilogy. I was telling you about Susan Shine. Saw the statue of St. Francis wink at her.
Oh, yeah.
And the television cameras were down. And the radio men were down. Lofty Fogarty got out of bed. He hadn't been seen since the field day, Maureen. We were doing... You missed it. We were doing the duck racing.
Oh, yeah.
And Lofty be big into the duck racing now. He'd be big man in the duck racing world. Now, well, he'd be more into goose racing, but like, 'twould surely give him an edge over your average duck racing enthusiast. And he had a lot of winners now at the Goose Open. He trained many a goose to glory. There was Feather and Allen, Flapper, Mick the Bird, the people's champion. But ever since last year, he lost all his money at the duck racing. And he's taken to the bed. And the club has new nets behind the goals. But they were all down to see the statue. But the statue didn't want to move for a second time. So after winking the first time, and people were starting to say, "Jay, Susan's after making this up now. He's not winking no more." And our Father Joey came over to me and he said, "Noel, this village needs the miracle." And I said, "Father Joey, I know exactly what you mean." So myself and Fiasco Ryan to be smoking fags and playing cards down the back of Mass. I snuck into my usual spot. And all the cameras were on the statues. And then suddenly a voice came from the statue. "Well, it's me, St. Francis. I've come back to show ye the errors of your ways. Ye must feed the poor people out in France. Be kind to the animals. They're all God's creatures. Except for grey squirrels. They're only pricks. Respect your elders, especially those who hurled senior for 18 years or more." And one cameraman shouted, "That's very specific." And St. Francis replied, "Shut up the fuck. Or I'll turn your mother into a badger." I can do that. Because I am St. Francis. And one reporter asked, "Why did you wink at Susan? Sure isn't she a fair bit of a bun?" "She's got a hoop like the Ring of Kerry. Beautiful, but difficult to navigate." And someone shouted, St. Francis, what's the meaning of life?" And St. Francis whispered, "Listen, lad, I'm a statue, I'm not gay born." "And you should all play the club lotto. Buy a ticket. Huey is outside. 3 for a $5. And like that, he was gone. Two miracles in 2 weeks.
Wow.
Praise the baby Jesus.
That's incredible, though.
Yeah.
That is some miracle.
Well, Halloween is upon us. When the spirits of the dead can come back. And I'm fairly sure St. Francis is dead.
So, his spirit has come back.
Yes. So we're expecting big crowds down at the chapel. And Kate Heffernan is doing tea and buns in the afternoon.
In the parish rooms.
In the parish rooms, yeah. Her butterfly cakes now are particularly good. There was a rush on stripy cake on Sunday. There was almost an incident, but the issue has been resolved. Stripy cake levels are back to an all-time high. If anyone wants to go down and sample some of Kate's tea and cake. And I shall return with more news.
And you're going to come to Los Angeles with us.
Oh, let's not get carried away.
Oh, well.
Well, me and Dr. Hayes still have beef.
We might set up a meet out there for the Suey.
Yeah, well, we could have a sit down.
Yeah.
All the crews, put our differences aside.
Yeah. Okay, we'll organise that.
I'll ring Snoopy.
Good man. Good man. Talk to you later.
Good luck.